He is a pediatric surgeon, and he specializes in obesity. And he talks about his own personal journey with weight issues. And I can totally relate to what he's saying. Back in 2012, I had bariatric surgery, and I was advised to eat a low bariatric, low glycemic style of eating, low carbohydrates under 50 milligrams, protein 60 to 80 grams, movement of 150 minutes or more, low fat. I did that for about 3 years. I became plant-based in 2015. All my videos are on my channel of my path and my struggle to stay out of obesity. That was in 2012. It's going to be 2020, and I'm still continuing on my path of a healthy lifestyle, whatever that may be. I'm a middle-aged woman now. I started at age 52. I was obese from 2006 it started to 2011, where I found bariatric surgery. I chose the lap band, and took me about 12 months to get to a normal BMI. I was not fat as a child. I was normal weight. My struggle began after age 45. I was normal pretty much, maybe a couple pounds here or there. I got to a normal BMI in 2013. Yes. This is me in 2013 when I started training for Ironman. I was a triathlete. I did training for about 3 years. This is me and my husband back in when I met him. As you can see, I was not obese. Basically it fell apart after I changed my eating pattern. I changed my job. I changed my life, and I became unhealthy and obese. I really struggled. And finally, in 2011, I decided to have bariatric surgery because I was caught in a metabolic shitstorm. I had swollen legs. I didn't feel very good. And I had doctor, this is me. I had doctor to tell me I was fine because the metabolic didn't show on my labs, right? Here's me. I was totally normal in 2003, 2004, somewhere around that. In 2011, this is what I look like. Became very unhealthy. Still, my blood pressure was normal. My cholesterol was sky high. That qualified me. I had a BMI of 37. I'm a little person. I'm under 5'3". At that time, I was 5'4". I had cankles. As you can see, my legs were swollen. And then after I had bariatric surgery, everything normalized. My metabolic shift took me back to a normal variant, right? I was so happy. Became a triathlete, a marathon runner. No extra skin. I was lucky. Starved myself. This was me when I was about 12 years old. See, I was a normal child in the 70s. I think that was 1972. My go-go boots. I wouldn't call myself. Here's me. I went to a normal weight. So I struggle with obesity. I've had maybe a 15-pound regain since 2013. And, I thought I was a weirdo. I thought I was a weirdo because I'm Italian, and I thought that something was wrong with me. I always thought something was wrong with my brain. Why the hell am I craving these carbohydrates? I was like, am I going crazy? I was like, um, because I was told to stop these carbohydrates, and nobody told me that your addiction is real. And I just thought I was out of my mind. I just thought I was out of my mind, and nobody validated me. So I just kept it secret, right? Fast food was the worst. I think the worst detox. I went off fast food in 2011. I started in January of 2011. And then I didn't have my bariatric surgery until the next September of 2012. So I started that whole detox kind of thing. I had to quit smoking. I had to try to exercise. I mean, with this body, I mean, how can you exercise? How can you run? I couldn't even get on the treadmill for 5 minutes. I was exhausted. My legs were like lead sinkers because I am large from the waist down. My breasts, the largest I got, well, when I was in pregnancy, they were double Ds. I think I got to like a 36 double D at I was 25. My arms didn't start to get fat until I went over 205 pounds. I was 215 pounds here with a BMI of about 37. And I had a lot of adipose in my rear end, as you can see. The rear end was the largest part of me. I am genetically bottom heavy. My mother, that's the way I am built, unfortunately. I don't have long legs. I have very short legs. My arms, didn't get obese until over 200 pounds. Otherwise, my neck, had sleep apnea. As you could see, I got a swollen neck at over 200. So that qualified me for weight loss surgery. So I had high cholesterol. I had sleep apnea. I didn't have high blood pressure. And I'm sure if you tested my sugar, I probably was insulin resistant for many, many years because my diet was basically a high glycemic, carbohydrate heavy, because I'm Italian, of course. I was raised on a noodle. But my mom basically did cook whole foods. She cooked from scratch. We didn't have a lot of fast food. So I didn't develop this fast food addiction until after 2005. This was me in 2004. I was pretty normal. I weighed about 147 pounds. And it wasn't until 2005 when I moved to Maryland. I got remarried. I was nesting. Is when and I adapted a new type of diet, a new job. Everything was new. There was a lot of food indulgence. I adapted my. This is my husband now, my second husband. He is metabolic. He's called a TOFI, if you know what a TOFI is. He is tall. He's lean. He has from a family of long legs, ectomorphs. Nobody is short. Everybody's tall. He has a very genetically beautiful family, where I had come from a family of shorties. Here's me in 1969. I was 9 years old, as you could see. I look like my father. Now, sometimes I look at myself and I see my mother. So here's me when I trained for Ironman. You can see I have bones up here. I was very lean up here. My face was very long and gaunt. This was the last to go, these legs. It wasn't until I hit maybe 150 pounds where my body became more structurally cohesive. I wasn't bottom heavy. The thighs were pretty good. They were pretty lean, and I was able to cycle. Cyclists, you need to be lean, and you can't have too much body weight, else gravity will pull you down. So I was at the height of my career, I should say, not career, of my physical endurance experience. So that ended when I got hurt in 2016. So getting back to Dr. Cywes here, he is very good. I'm going to link his channel.
Why not call that? Use that name for myself. And this and the next podcast are going to explain that. So let's go back to our human biology model. In order to understand how different foods affect us, we have to understand what the needs and how the human body works. Instead of talking about food and weight and obesity and all those kind of things, let me use a brief analogy. If you drink water, how much water do you really need to drink? The reality is you have no idea, number one. And number two is you really don't need to know. Why don't you need to know? Because your body is damn good.
So basically what he says is there are some people that can metabolize carbohydrates and some of us can't. Genetically, maybe hemodynamically, who knows? And then it's the point where we become insulin resistance, or maybe our body changes chemically, maybe on a cellular level. I don't know, but my body changed when I turned 40. I was not able to handle the carbohydrates. I noticed my body changing. My body did not look the same. My body did not feel the same.
Good at figuring that out for itself. So when you're thirsty, you start to drink water. You have no idea how much you're going to drink. Might be 1 glass, 2 glasses, 2.5 glasses. I don't care. And at some point, as you're thirsty and you're drinking, your body, through a variety of biochemical signals, sends a message back to your brain that says, stop. You're full. You've had enough water, your thirst is quenched. And there's no incentive to overdrink. Could you overdrink a little bit? Sure. But there's no incentive to do it. We don't.
What does the bariatric surgeons tell you? I was told to drink between 60 ounces of water to 80 ounces of water per day based on my exercise, a minimum of 60 ounces of water because that was to flush the fat out.
Do it. So therefore, nobody drinks water to excess. And that's, by the way, part of the lunacy of people telling you have to drink so much water. That is, and I'm going to use a medical word here, that's absolute bullshit. Your body knows what to do. How does the body know what to do? Well, here's an important biological lesson. It's called homeostasis. What homeostasis means is this. For everything that is essential to the human body, every function, every system, everything that is essential to human function, that is without which the body will get sick and die, the body controls biologically in what's called a feedback pathway. So you've got an action and an equal and opposite reaction.
And it's very interesting because, you know, with science and diet, registered dietitians, doctors, endocrinologists, you know, they all say something different, right? They all have their own dogma. But he is definitely validating things that are going on in my body.
So when I'm thirsty, I drink. A powerful incentive, and my thirst is quenched. The signal goes back to my brain. It says you've had enough, and you stop. Think about your car. You go.
So he talks about a lot of different
when you
things.
drink alcohol to excess over time, it causes harm. You get DUIs, you get liver disease, you lose your job, your family. That's the harm. And if you ignore or distort the reality of the harm because of the pleasure you derive from that alcohol, over time you lose control of the relationship. You're an alcoholic. Everybody understands that. That's obvious. We've worked that out as human beings. The other very smart thing that we've done is we know as human beings we cannot control our consumption of alcohol. So we've created a mathematical formula that we teach people, that we instruct people about, to be able to quantify how much alcohol is okay to drink. And it's based.
And I like the way he talks. He doesn't down anybody, or he doesn't act pompous. He's explaining it on layman's terms. And I just like the whole presentation. There's part one and part two.
It's on the ounces of alcohol per drink and the numbers of drinks. So I know I can drink 3 or 4 beers and be safe. I know I can drink 2 or 3 glasses of wine and be safe. I know I can drink 2 or 3 cocktails and be safe. But that is a conscious decision that I have to make with my brain because there is no feedback. I never have to do the same with water. However, the other piece is this, that if I decide I'm going to supersede those limits, with alcohol, I sure can. I've done that experiment a few times, purely for medical reasons, never for pleasure reasons, of course. But you can't do the same with water.
So he talks about the relationship of other things as opposed to carbohydrates.
Substances that we have to consume because without them, as human beings, we get sick and we die. They are nutrients, and they may be certain minerals, certain vitamins, certain trace elements.
We really don't need carbohydrates, no matter what they tell you.
Sources of calories, fat and protein. Without certain essential fatty acids, without certain essential amino acids, we will get sick and die. Most people understand that. And when it comes to food, we have very, very tight feedback control that's mediated by the stretch receptors in our stomach and by certain chemical hormone processes.
Why do you think fatty liver is going to be the next volcano that erupts for the next? It was kidney disease because of diabetes, but now from obesity, fatty liver disease they're going to be the liver transplants, or that's the next big business.
Important hormonal process called the leptinoids. There's actually about 5 of them that we know of right now, possibly even some more. Peptide YY, cholecystokinin, a few others that are in the gastrointestinal tract, and leptin from the fat cells that worked.
So I'm going to link this card because you will learn a lot. You will learn about different parts of science that some people don't talk about or you didn't learn by your bariatric surgeon. It's very, very interesting. And I'm going to link a card. And if you have any comments, please put them below. I will be happy to answer them. And I hope you found this information valuable for your weight loss path. Thank you.